Hey folks, welcome back to Farming Simulator 22, and we're going to have a quick look at grazing and dealing with mods that don't have foliage areas. I am going to work through this for me doing it the first time, so there may be some mistakes. Hopefully there won't be, but that might show you the mistakes you will make as well. I have found a mod on ModHub that doesn't have foliage areas. There's a good reason potentially that it doesn't, because it doesn't really have anywhere for the sheep to graze. Cows, for some reason, they want to let me place it down. Let's put it there. Okay, because all we really have is this little area here where you might possibly have some grazing. What I'm going to show you is how to set up a foliage area in here. I mean, potentially with this mod you could take this fence out, create a pasture area, and put your own fence in, maybe. So if I turn on the triggers, we can ask. Okay, that makes sense to me that there's not really any grazing supported on this one because it doesn't have an outdoor pasture area particularly. But I was struggling to find a mod that had absolutely nothing in it to demonstrate this process with. So, yeah, I'm going with this one. See, the cows come out here, so the nav mesh hopefully comes out around this bit. So, yeah, let's get out of the game into the mods folder. You're going to need Giants Editor and Notepad++ for this. And let's start working through the process. I'm going to assume you are moderately familiar with manipulating files and finding Giants Editor and installing it and all that kind of thing, because if you're not, you will probably struggle with most of this tutorial. So we're going to start by unzipping our placeable, because that makes it easier. And then we're going to copy the original, and I'm just going to paste it onto the desktop. So I've got a backup, and then I'm going to delete it. Back up things as you go with this, obviously. Right, so we need to do two things. We need to edit the XML and we need to edit the i3D. We're going to do the i3D file first. For some reason, my copy of Giants Editor does not associate itself with i3D files, so I have to tell the computer to open Giants Editor. And so you can see this is the animal shed, and this is the area that we're going to try and put some grazing in. It works in rectangles or squares, so it's going to be kind of tricky, but we'll see what we can do. So the first thing that we need to do is the way that I would do it, because basically you want something like this. So you want a group name and then a start, a width, and a height. So I am going to just click on the clear area and do edit and duplicate. And that's put it down the bottom here. And we're going to rename that as foliage area 1. And then we've got a start, a width, and a height. Okay. They're completely in the wrong place at the moment, but that's fine. So what we'll do, in fact, is I'm going to duplicate that again. This may not be the neatest way of doing it, but it is a way of doing it. And I'm going to rename them as 2 and 3. Okay. Right. What we want to do then is we're going to take our start, and we're going to move that across to be in the corner there. We're then going to take our width and find where it is and move it across to about there. And actually, if we go in a little bit, and then our height is all the way over here. Actually, I'm going to do it the other way around because it'll be easier. Put the start over here, the width over here, and then the height we'll get, so it's just kind of clipping the fence. Okay, so that's our first foliage area set. We'll then take our second one and do the same sort of thing. It doesn't matter if they overlap. In fact, it's probably a little bit better if they do. So that's there. So that wants to be out here somewhere. Maybe we'll put it about there. Our height will then bring all the way across to about where the fence is. And our width will grab and bring, there we go. Okay, so find where we were. So foliage area 1, we've got from there across to there and across to about where that second fence post is. That one then comes in a bit, and then the width is all the way across and the height is all the way across to there. So we need to set our last one to be kind of in this area somewhere. So again, we're going to expand it, expand that. We'll grab the start. We'll come across. I think about there is probably okay. So it doesn't matter if they overlap, as I said. So we'll then come across to about there. And the width will be somewhere over here, and we'll bring that across. And there we go. That should be our i3D stuff set. I mean, you could do stuff with moving this fence and duplicating it and maybe squaring that off. I'm not going to show you that for now. That's kind of up to you to want to do for yourself. So we're going to save that. Then going to go in back in here, and we're going to open up the XML. I'll bring that across to here, and we're also going to open up from the base game the default small barn. So that is going to be wherever you have Farm Sim installed. For me, that is in a separate folder on one of my SSDs. You then go into data and placeables, and it's under lizard and cow barn small, and we'll open up the XML for that as well. Because what we want to do is copy these. So this is where the foliage areas are defined. So we're going to copy that. We're going to go across to go across to the XML, and after the indoor areas, we are going to paste that in. That's okay. And then if we go back here, we're going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and where we have our foliage areas, where we have these. So this is where you define, you give the names to the links to the i3D file. We're going to copy all of those as well. Go back to our barn. We're going to scroll down to the bottom, and there are no i3D links in this one. That is interesting because they've done it differently. So what we're going to do is, because you may have this in yours, we're going to copy that, which is the start of the i3D mapping. So I literally downloaded this mod, found that it didn't have grazing set up because it doesn't have an area that you would normally graze. And so I'm learning as you learn. So we're going to copy the close of that as well. And we're going to paste that in. Okay, so that gives us our little i3D mappings section. And then we're going to grab these. We're going to copy them, and we're going to paste them in. Now we need to get these numbers. You get those from Giants Editor. So we're going to click on the first one, and you'll see over on the right hand side here we have a number. We have a number and some characters. We're going to copy that, and we're going to go back into the XML, and for our first foliage area, I copied, I didn't paste. Go back, highlight it all. If you could write these down and copy them in, and we're going to paste that in there. So 0 arrow 20 line 0 0 arrow 20 line 0, and then for the rest of the set for foliage area 1, we're going to copy that in as well, because the rest will be based on that. So if we go back to Giants Editor and we click on the width, you'll see it's just added a line 0 on the end. So we're going to copy that. And we're going to paste that in. And then if we go to the height, we'll see it's a 1 on the end. So we can just paste again, and then we'll change it to a 1. So now if we look at the next one, we'll see that it is 21 and the same sequence, and then the next one will be 22 and the same sequence. Your numbers may be different. Don't copy the numbers that I'm putting in. Copy the numbers that match up to what's in Giants Editor. So I'm going to do the rest here. So that becomes 21. And the other start becomes 22. The width. Was that order, wasn't it? Yeah. So that becomes 21. And that becomes 22. And then the last one, that becomes 21. I say there may be better ways of doing this. I'm hoping that this works. I don't want to have to record it again. And that becomes 22. So that should be all of them set. Yeah, that all looks okay. So the last bit we're going to do, because the cows can't graze grass short, is I am going to get the little change that I think Model Aisha shared and Axel translated into English for us, to change that to grass. So the last step we're going to do is where it says deco foliage equals grass short, we're going to replace that with fruit type equals grass. This should give us normal grass in the areas we have created, and it should then be grazable. So close that, save this, close it. I'm not going to bother rezipping this yet, just in case it hasn't worked. So we'll reload the game and see what happens. So we're back in the game, and let's now try placing it and see what happens. Not sure if those are good or bad, but let's just go for it. So we have grass growing in the concrete now. So we probably want to do, we probably wanted to have set a paint area there. So let's go back out and do that as well. Let's not do half a job, shall we? Or yeah, let's not do half a job. Back in the mods folder, we should be able to do this all in the XML, I think. In the level areas with a bit of, I think we can do it in there. In fact, what we're going to do is we're going to add some paint areas. So I've reopened the small cow barn as well, and we've got a paint area for grass. So we're going to copy that and we're going to put it inside the leveling piece. So after the level areas, and we're going to paste that. Ground type grass is fine, and what we need to do is put in these nodes, and that will paint that area with grass. It will not look super pretty, but for the sake of this tutorial, it should be good enough. You might want to do a neater job yourself. You could create one paintable area that was slightly bigger, maybe, and then we need to change them to 3 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3. So we'll save that again, and I'll see you back in the game. So we're back again. Probably worth saying, do all of this in a test save like I am, till you get it working. So if we now try and place this, hopefully, there we go. So it's not super neat, but we've got a little bit of grass area. As I said, if you wanted to be more thorough, you could open this fence up. Either put, you could delete this fence in the i3D or move it underground and create a bigger grass area. If you didn't mess with the nav mesh, it'd just be visual. The cows wouldn't walk on it, but they would graze from it. So, in theory, if we now, I'm just going to add 1 cow because I don't want it to eat all of the grass. Well, hopefully there is now 1 cow in there. And if we speed up some time, it should eat the grass. And there we go, it has. Whew. There we go. And obviously with a small area like this, there's not going to be a huge amount of grass for the cow to eat. I have no idea where the cow is. Oh, there it is. But yeah, that's added the foliage areas from scratch. That in the i3D and the XML, we've put some grass down on the ground. You can see it's a little bit of work to do, neatening up how it does the painting and stuff, but that will vary depending on which mod you decide to add this to anyway. You may find that some mods have some bits of this defined and not others, so take the appropriate steps that you need. Yeah, and if it doesn't work, basically start again and work through the steps. Check the log file as you try and add it. It will give you some hints on how to do it. If you don't know where the log file is, you probably shouldn't be attempting this. It does assume some level of awareness of editing things in FarmSim. But yeah, if you've got questions, stick a comment below. If you are not already, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out, and like the video. If you've got questions on this, then head over to my Discord. Let's keep it away from the Farming Agency Discord for now, I think, or the maizeplus Discord. And yeah, I will see you next time. Actually, the last step that I missed is rezipping the mod. So in the mods folder, Control A to select everything. Right click on a file, 7-zip, add to zip. Cut the zip, stick it in your mods folder, delete the folder that you edited. Job done.